today's show we're looking into dog training. I have John Ward here with me, the founder of Dublin Dog Training. So thank you very much for joining us, John.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you on board.
It's great to be here.
So, John, tell us about Dublin Dog Training. How did you get into it?
Dublin Dog Training came in 2006. As I say, I was working and I was made redundant, and I've decided at that stage to start Dublin Dog Training. So I looked around for a premises to rent, which I have in Malahide, and we started with pet obedience and dog agility.
And how did you get into training?
I got into training as a hobby going back, way back. My first dog was around 1976, 77. I had a rescue dog and went to my first obedience training in Coolock, and with a guy called Paddy O'Flaherty, and went on then. Got very involved with the training, very impressed with everything, the way the training was at the time, and I decided then to go on to competition.
Oh, really?
So I started in an obedience competition, done it a little bit, and quite enjoyed it, and then come into the 80s, 88, 89, I got my first German Shepherd dog, and I was so interested. I seen agility, and I went and decided I'd love to train my dog for that. So the first night I actually went out to man-sized kennels and there was a guy there, and I was on the end of a queue, and we were, training some equipment, and then he informed me that he was going to Australia the next day. So that was the end of that. So I looked around and I just carried on at it, and I suppose I was very lucky in a way, got a bit successful in it. Went on with 3 more German Shepherds, and then my dog, rescue dog Stan.
What an awesome name.
Yeah. He was like a lab, sort of Staffy Cross. He was rescued in Ballymun Flats, and took him in and trained him in agility. He actually loved it. He loved the travelling, and he actually ended up running in 2 World Championships.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the first one was in England, and then Belgium.
Fantastic.
And loved it, and only retired there in 2011. And now I'm working with my next rescue from Dogs Aid again, and Stan came from Dogs Aid, and I have Nell, a collie, and she's in training, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be in competition by the end of this year.
Brilliant.
Okay, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So Dublin Dog Training. Well, what I done there was I went to England and I bought a lot of agility equipment, which is it's quite expensive. But anyway, I have it all set up. And
just a quick question on that.
Yes.
What exactly is agility training?
Okay, agility it's an obstacle course set up for dogs, not unlike horse jumping. And we have there's fences, hurdles. There's A-frames, dog walks, tunnels, tires, it's called a tire, it's a hoop, yeah. And there's a good range of equipment.
Yeah, and you need all of them in order to make sure your dog is well trained.
Yes. So a lot of people will come to us and just for the fun of it, which is it's really good fun for your dog. And then sometimes people have gone further. There is a lot of competition these days, and but we always at Dublin Dog Training we keep it relaxed. So you can get a little bit too competitive. And that sort of ruins a little bit, so...
takes away the fun and the charm of...
It does, yeah. And people put pressure on their dog, and, I put my hand up, probably, I've done it myself, and many, many years ago, and I just got the bug for too competitive, and you get knocked down, and then you cop onto yourself. And now, as I say, we have some lovely, lovely people in Dublin Dog Training, and they come weekly.
So it's a continuous training process?
Yes, they come Friday, they come Saturday, they come Sunday, and then our pet obedience then, it's our evening times. Yes, sort of, it's a great life. It's a great life for a dog, so...
It's one of my first rules is if my dog doesn't like you, I don't trust you. The second is a well-trained dog is a very loved dog.
Yes.
That's how I always kind of gauge people. If your dog isn't trained at all, you've put no time, you've put no effort into it.
Well, what happens is people get dogs and for a certain amount of time, then they get bored. And the dog has done something in the house, and then and our baby comes along, and the dog then heads for the back garden. Happens a lot, and you see all these wonderful, wonderful dogs up in Dogs Aid and other charities. So there's a lot around, but most of them dogs that are brought there are just either people got bored with them, they got them for children, didn't work out.
It's a sad story.
Puppy breeding, it goes on and on. The amazing thing is to go and look at rescue centres before you start buying puppies from breeders.
And John, you were saying to me that you're you're a softie.
Yes.
Is pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
How many animals do you have?
Okay. Well, at this stage I have 6 dogs. I've had 7, but my old shepherd just passed away recently, and she was rescued as well. She got Dogs Aid. And my wife is involved with in cat rescue, and so we've accumulated 13 cats. Now, as you say that, like the 13 cats are spoiled rotten, and people would probably shiver to think you have 13 cats in your house. But they are in and out of the house, but they also have a big shed, and that's where they live, and it can be quite expensive. You don't think about that side of things.
No, pets are not cheap.
No,
not at all.
Owning 6 dogs, you're feeding 6 dogs. You got vets. You got things that happen. You've got to neuter the dog, spay your dog. Little things happen to your dog. They get sick. You would rush to the vet quicker with your dog than you actually go to the doctor. And that's me, actually. You really quite expensive. So the problem is, getting a dog. It's not just. It doesn't mean it's never going to be sick. It's going to have a problem. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a big commitment.
It is a big commitment.
Yes, it is.
And people need to realise that once you've got that animal, you need to commit to making that animal a part of your life.
Part of your family.
Exactly.
Yes.
And training that animal is part of that process, making sure that animal fits in.
Absolutely. In part of life where, you have your own family and kids, and then you have grandchildren, like my grandchild, and a lot of people have a dog, say, for maybe 4 or 5 years or 6 years. It happens terrible, where they find out they're going to have a new baby in the house, and the first thing you hear is, "Look, I was at your training. Do you remember my dog?" And yes, and we're having a baby, so he has to go.
People believe that animals can't be around kids.
Correct.
This fear that your cat will come and sleep on your kid's face and suffocate it.
And all this. Yeah.
When the reality is, your kid has its own room. If it's asleep, you close the door.
Yeah.
Simple,
it's all
small,
about
logical steps.
Yes.
Yeah, that people can take in order to prevent it. And then even more, training.
Absolutely.
Training it, making sure the dog doesn't want to sit on someone's face.
Absolutely. You see, training as in, I suppose people would say we go to a training school. I do say a 5-week course. And what we do is we give everything I can in that 5 weeks. And what you must do is carry on after that, because training is all the time. It's not after 5 weeks. You don't just say, "Oh, well, that's done." It's not done. It's everything in dogs every day, all the way up to I have a 14-year-old dog, and he still likes his walks, or his brushing. There's another thing, keeping your dog in good condition, and because he's old, it doesn't mean that's the end of him. Just like people, I suppose.
Definitely. I mean, if I don't practice something that I was trained to do, for instance, like producing a radio show,
yes,
my skills are going to become less and less and less. And it's the exact same with an animal.
Yes.
You've got to keep using it.
Absolutely. I suppose everyone's not as lucky as I am, because every day I'm involved with dog training, and dogs and dog agility.
No, nobody's as lucky as you are.
No.
You get to work with dogs every day.
I feel so lucky, and I think also that there has to be, and you're saying earlier on there, you really need a passion for it. You have to understand dogs, and when dogs come that aren't very, very nice dogs, why is he not a nice dog, or she is not a nice dog, I suppose.
It's as much about behavioural modification and management as it is about stand.
Yes, and people are understanding and thinking that if you're hard on a dog, he'll do what he's told or she's told. It depends on the person, and then of course I've come across silly things like people, like couples where somebody would be jealous of the dog because the dog is getting more attention than the person. I mean, I've seen it.
Well, that's how a dog's life should be.
That's it. Yeah. Well, there you go. Like so.
So you've pretty much tailored your entire life around your dogs.
Absolutely.
It's your passion. It's everything you want to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's some fabulous people come to us in Dublin Dog Training because they're passionate about their dogs as well. And it's lovely to meet people. And then everyone helps everybody else. And then there's always a sad part, sad times. Things happen, dogs pass on, and very traumatic for people. And some people might laugh at that.
Well, I suppose that's why being in your position, Dublin Dog Training, and like you said, bringing all these like-minded people, when something horrible happens, you have that like-minded community. Yeah. Yeah,
be there. And it's amazing, it's true, but everybody is there. Like, if something happens to anybody, it's brilliant the way people show their sympathy to people. So dog training is not just you go in and make the dog sit and stay and all this sort of stuff. Dog training to me is every day.
It's a lifestyle.
Every day, yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that the show constantly touches on is whenever it comes to a pet, it's a lifestyle choice.
Yes.
Adopting, finding a specific breed, whatever aspect of pet ownership you're looking into, it's a lifestyle choice. And you have to commit to that long-term lifestyle choice.
Yes. I suppose you have a different, in ways, dogs, people love cuddly little dogs and it's a sort of, I suppose, it's their baby. I have a little dog myself. He's a rescue. He's he is a Chihuahua. You can see like that. It'd be so easy to spoil rotten. But he's with my other dogs. He walks with them. He runs on the beach with them, and try not to. We try not to overspoil them. It's very hard. Now, the thing about spoiling dogs, all my dogs are madly spoiled, but spoiled in a way that they don't take over. If you come into my house, there's a couch to sit on, there's chairs to sit on. They're not sprawled all over the place. They have their beds. So, yeah, I'd like to get that across to people in the training. Dogs can get jealous of attention to someone else, which can cause trouble in the house. So, your dog needs time out. People, they have a dog running around with kids, everything is fine, and then there's all this screaming and everything like that, and it hypers the dog. So if he nips in excitement, straight away it's a dog bite. And they say the dog only, once a dog bites, that's the end of it.
Oh yeah, well there's so many regulations about it these days, and don't get me wrong, I think there's reason for those regulations, but as much as you train a dog, your family have to be trained as well.
Absolutely. So it's like your dog coming into a home, it needs to know where it is in the home.
Everyone gets kind of caught up in this romanticised idea of what it is to have a pet, and they kind of forget that vet bills are extortionist.
Absolutely.
Often.
Absolutely.
Procedures are expensive.
Yes,
there's no doubt about it. Training, you've got to make sure your dog has its place in the household, like you said.
Yes.
They're expensive creatures.
Absolutely. People expect to get a pup, and I often get calls and they'd say, my pup is 12 weeks old and it's still going to toilet in the house. What do you expect?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, say you had a baby, and you have to train it from a nappy to, to a potty, wherever. You know what I mean? You expect a pup to be able to understand I want to go out to the toilet. It's a bit of work involved in it. So, yeah, I found it a bit difficult, to tell you the truth, because I hadn't had a pup in a long time. But I got on with it, and it's done and dusted. And
you've got to train that puppy into knowing, actually,
absolutely.
You can't pee here, so you need to wake me up and I'll let you out.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to go more into the training in the second half of the show.
Okay.
Right now, we're just going to pop over to a quick music break.
Okay.
It's Blackbird by the Beatles.
Okay.
Welcome back to Pet Station on 103.2 Dublin City FM with myself, Nicola Graham. Today we're talking to John Ward, the founder of Dublin Dog Training. And in the first half we were talking about, him and how he got into dog training and all of his, 20 pets that you have at the moment? 13 cats and 6 dogs. 6 dogs. It was 7, so 19 pets. And 3 kittens.
And 3 kittens, yeah. Well, they're looking for homes soon, yeah.
So we've been chatting a bit about that, and now we're going to talk more about, those kind of frequently asked questions when it comes to dog training. So I'm going to go with the first one, which for me is the most obvious. dogs have a pack mentality in general. So they tend to have an alpha. When it comes to training, how do you train up one family member to be that alpha, so that one person goes into training with them, or do you kind of train up the whole family?
Okay, yeah. We bring the dog if it's in a family, right? Everybody in the family must be involved with the dog. Okay, so the thing about it is that you don't want the dog just listen to one person. The dog must be used to whoever's many. If it's 2 people, 10 people in the family, everybody must have a goal with the dog. Like the training. So you'd have somebody who would probably feed a dog. Not everyone's going to feed a dog, so you'd have maybe one person like I feed the dogs. Okay, everyone should actually walk the dog. You should get involved in walking the dog. Interact with the dog. It's not everybody is going to be interested in the dog in the family, but yes, you don't really need, expect one person to be involved all the time with the dog. No, I would like, people come along to our dog training and Dublin Dog Training, and what they do is we might get 2 or 3 people coming up. The family might come up and sit in and look what's going on, and we explain to everybody, because they need to be more aware when they get a dog and what type of dog they're going to get.
Would kind of the breed of a dog affect the kind of training that you give it? So are some breeds more intelligent than others?
Okay, so yeah, you're talking like say a lot of people like German Shepherd dogs. Okay, it depends again on where the dog came from, the breed of the dog. Like working German Shepherd, if so, the dog needs training. It needs to do agility. It needs to do other things like working trials, like tracking dogs and things like that. They need to use their intelligence. People get dogs like all different type of breed of dogs, working breed dogs. What happens is they think a walk around the block is enough for them. And come winter time, now will it be not hard day at work? It's really not nice out. I'll give her a break. Sure, I'll give the dog a walk tomorrow. And then so nobody's interacting with the dog. Dog will get frustrated, bored, just like people.
So you've got to keep.
You must interact with the dog, and no matter what, you just put on your wellies and out you go and walk the dog. Bring him home, towel dry the dog, and the dog is happy.
And without an outlet, kind of what would be kind of the side effects? Would you?
Yeah, they can get. Dogs get frustrated. They bark. Neighbours get fed up. Dog is barking, and then what happens is the dog doesn't what happens is people go out and an older person in the household goes out the back to hang the washing up, and the dog is jumping all over them, pulling the washing off the line.
So the dog can become a bit more of a pest
than a pet. Absolutely. And then dogs can get aggressive because they're shut up and they're not getting what they need to get. They're not getting what they expect to get.
So they get overstimulated and
So it's great to stick it up. I mean, people say, well, I can't walk my dog. Or what's the problem with getting up at like an hour and a half early in the morning and walking? What's the big deal about it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, for you, not much. For the dog, it's its outing. It's its version of normalcy.
That's the thing. A dog makes you get up in the morning and look after him, or her, and so forth. And you're right about the sort of what happens is different breeds of dogs. So you got Labradors, Rottweilers, German Shepherds, all your normal big breed dogs. And they grow to big puppies and big dogs. Because you need there's a lot of stimulation needed for these dogs. But as soon as the cuteness goes off, and then you're left for a big dog, nobody wants.
People haven't gone out of their way to build that relationship, give them their space in your world.
That's right.
So when they're not as cute anymore now,
that's right.
Now all those pasty behaviours are actually pasty rather than cute.
That's right. And and it's very sad because you go around. People go and surrender dogs in the dog pounds and things like that, and it's so frustrating to see. There's a lovely dog there. Comes to me now. She's a chocolate lab. She's absolutely beautiful, and she came from Dog's Aid, and she started doing. She came from obedience into our agility, and I was only looking at her yesterday, and oh my God, what a happy dog. And the lady that took her from Dog's Aid, and now her son joins her on Saturday mornings. And I was only like talking to her yesterday, going, my God, look how happy your dog is. And she's put the work in.
Yeah, and it pays off.
And it's paid off. So there's somebody that had that dog that gave her up what they're missing on now. That's the way I look at it. They're missing out on something really big.
And now with training, what's kind of the process you use? Do you use positive reinforcement, treats, or do you kind of make sure they know who Alpha is, who Boss is?
Okay, yeah. Well, I suppose when you come in to say show the boss is, you would have some people training dogs to this day still use choke chains, pinch collars and all that sort of carry on, and electric collars.
What are those?
It's a collar where you have a zapper, and if the dog is not doing what's told, they zap it and it gets electric shock.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's absolutely... Anyway, there's none of that. I don't allow any choke chains. Anyone comes with a choke chain, they take it off straight away. They don't come in the gate, first of all. You're right. What we use is... Everything to use is... Like, so simple where you can use... most dogs would be motivated with treats. Like tasty, like bits of sausage or something like that. Small bits, things like that. Or they can be motivated with squeaky ball, toys, tuggy rope. Reward based is everything I train. Dublin Dog Training, everything is reward based. There's no, as I say, there's nothing like choke chains or anything like that. It's not allowed. Now, many years ago, when I started in dog training first, when you went to your dog training, and that was back in the 70s, like, you would, first thing you do is put a choke chain on your dog. That's the way it was. So I didn't know any better anyway, and that's what you would do. And it's only as time went on, you realised, like, you didn't need it. You know, there was, here's the thing, like, I would look back, I got a present many years ago of a painting on my German Shepherd, done by absolutely fabulous artist, Joanna McLaughlin Minch, actually. She's still around, like myself. Anyway, it was a present done for me. And the funny thing about it is that this is my dog Rocky, big long-haired German Shepherd dog, and in the painting, of course, there was a choke chain on him. Okay, which I find now absolutely, oh my God, I don't believe I've done this. You know, now I never ill-treated my dog with that, but it was just it was tool of training. But that went out the window with me then a long time ago. So flat collars, like you were saying to me, the thing about it is really is reward base is a really good thing. Like reward as in like most people use treats. Okay. And then I would sort of work treats and then praise. Okay, you know, so I go half and half. You have nervous dogs, and what I actually do is you know, you're not going to go start about trying to get the dog to sit and all this sort of carry on. So what I'd actually do is I just let the dog just chill and just be part of the class. And then when you see it, the opening where the dog is actually calm, is starting to chill a bit. Slow is good to me. You can't rush anything. You have to have patience. If something doesn't work, don't keep at it. Just walk away. Come back. Set something up that you want to do and try and achieve it. And once you achieve that, like, well, then you're going places, right? And so on and so on. And then you build it up and build it up.
And you just keep going. Keep
going. If it's not working, step back. And sometimes, like, you think you've really done well, and you are doing well, and then you would get something happens and it goes backwards. Get up and go back again.
And restart.
And restart.
Well, on that note, we're going to have to round this up. So I think one of the most important messages from our chat today is take care to help your dog develop into its best possible dog.
Absolutely.
When you're looking to buy a dog, adopt a dog, whatever it is, make sure you put that thought process into it as much as you would think about insurance or which charity you're going to get it from.
Absolutely.
Think about the training aspect.
And get the dog that suits you.
Yeah, make sure that
people
you
see
actually...
big dog, oh yeah, it's great, and it doesn't work out, you know.
Yeah, if you live in a flat, you don't go get a big dog.
Absolutely.
Well, John, thank you so much
Hey.
for coming in on the show this week. It was
Enjoyed it.
absolutely lovely to have you on board.
Thanks very much.
Up next on 103.2 Dublin City FM is Our Musical Islands with Owen O'Doherty.